yeah, it's a difficult time here in Turkey because you know these people so well, and what they have given to to me, and what they've done for like my family, and just to see the state of what the country is going through right now, and how much hurt and just the tragedy is. It's hard to see, and for myself, learning firsthand from what Sam went through. I got a call from him in the middle of the night uh, when everything happened, and kind of just he showed me how it was, and I was just completely shocked. So yeah, as I said, I think I'll let Sam take over with go more into depth with it, but just hard for me to hear of it, and just to see and to know what he went through was hard for me to see, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we had a game in the evening, and then a couple of my teammates just came over after the game because usually you can't sleep because of like the adrenaline rush and stuff, and just hung out until the later hours of the night. And then when they left, I started cleaning up my place, and then when I sat down, I just I started shaking, thinking I was having like a panic attack, and then it just kept like the shakes kind of getting more and more severe, and then I started hearing like just like getting the chaos in my kitchen, plates and like cups and everything flying off, and then the table falling over, the TV falling over. I had a candle on my table, the candle fell over, and that's when I kind of started to realize what was going on. And I just quickly tried to like find the candle because everything was kind of a big mess in my living room. I just to quickly like blow it out so obviously didn't start a fire. And then when I came outside, it was kind of just like lightning and freezing rain, and like the road was like split, and everyone was outside just kind of yelling. And then when everything settled down, I went to kind of check my house again, and obviously walked through it, seeing kind of like the mess it was. And then I walked through, then I drove into the city. And that's where I kind of really saw kind of like, like I guess the devastating like effects of what happened, as I drove. It's about a 20-minute drive from my house to the training ground. And then, it just felt like a movie, just, you seeing like collapsed buildings, fires, people yelling, people crying. You're seeing just, people digging through rubble, just broken pieces of houses, just things you never really expect. And as I started driving closer towards the training ground, it's more towards the center of the city, you just start seeing kind of like even worse, roads split, like, bridges broken, 12-story like high rises just completely collapsed. And you're seeing just families like, looking for loved ones, parents looking for their kids looking for their parents. And it was just something like unfathomable, something you never really expect. And it was just, crazy. And I got to the training ground, and, people are missing, people are still missing. And, no one, there's no internet service, obviously people don't have their belongings. It happened in the later hours of the night, so it's no one has anything, and it was just hard to comprehend. And then throughout the day, you're just trying to help people and look for your teammates and things like that. And then you start to see just even more so how devastating it is. You're like looking through rubble, trying to find your teammates. You're trying to yell for them in like, like darkened spaces of apartments that are used to be standing. And it's just, something you never find yourself doing. And, people coming back with broken bones, and people still missing to this day. And I don't know, it's just something you can't like really explain.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Todd, Calgary.
Sam, have any updates on your teammates, the missing ones?
Yeah, we're still the sporting director of the team is still missing. There's the situation around Cristian Atsu, one of my teammates, who was at my house that night, is still kind of unknown. They said he was found, but no one has still heard from him, so no one is really sure. And then it's not just that; it's also people kind of who work around the team. People who work in the kitchen, people who work. I mean, like Kitman, one of my Kitmen just turned up. He died. One of the ladies who works in the kitchen, she lost her daughters and her mother. One of my other Kitmen, his wife, she needs like urgent medical care, but because also the hospitals are destroyed, she doesn't have it, and if she doesn't get it, she needs to get her arm amputated, and it's just, of course, I'm thankful that a lot of my teammates have been found, but the people that do help the team, the people who do work around the club, they still have loved ones that are missing and unaccounted for, and it just, really starts to hit home when you just see like the agony and the desperation on their faces, and also living in a place where it's not a super economic power place. So it's, they're already coming from difficult places, and with everything taken away from them, it's unfathomable, like how much more difficult it is.
Thank you. Neil Davidson, and then Brendan.
Thank you. It's good to see both of you safe. Sam, how did you get out of the city? Was that difficult? What was that journey like?
So we were actually fortunate. Our coach, Volkan, he used to play for a team called Fenerbahce. So he just called their president and said, "You need to help us get out of here." So they organized a plane from a city called Adana, which is about a 2.5-hour drive away. So the team were able to get on the bus, drive down, and then get on the private plane to Istanbul. And we were very lucky.
Do you know what lies ahead for you? Are you going to stay with the team in Istanbul?
Yeah, temporarily. I think it's just taking time to process things. I think they just announced that obviously the season is finished for the teams in the cities that were affected, and now it's just kind of just seeing what's gonna happen. I don't expect myself going back anytime soon. I just grabbed what I could, and yeah, I'm really not sure what the plan is. I have 3 suitcases and my dog.
Thank you. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you. Brendan.
Hey guys. Sam,
Hi.
happy to see that you're safe, buddy, and that you're there with Atiba, man. And sorry to ask you to relive this, but I'm just curious to hear, when you say when you left the house and you went driving, you went straight to the training ground. Was that instinctual? Did you guys have cell phone service? Were you able to text some people and say you were all meeting at the ground? What was the decision behind just going straight to the training ground in the middle of the night?
So where I live is it's kind of a complex with houses, and about 3-4 of the teammates live there. And we had a little bit of internet access, and some people were on their way to the training ground just because they kind of lost their apartments, and they had nowhere to go. So I think all we could do was just kind of just follow them and seeing how they were, and just checking on them. Like I said, like, my situation and some of my teammates who live next to me, it's obviously it's a very like bad situation, but it's not nearly close to what some other people are having to go through. So yeah, like I said, we just went to the training ground to see what we can do and what we were gonna do.
Thanks, Sam. Yeah, stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you. Todd from Calgary. Follow up.
Yeah, guys, how quickly were you able to get word back to your family that you were safe?
like fairly quickly. I mean, it was kind of strange because, like I said, the first person I called was Atiba because I didn't really understand the effects of the earthquake. Just because, like, I knew it was bad, but like I said, you know, my house is like obviously turned upside down, but it wasn't, you know, broken in half or things of that nature. So when I called Atiba, they didn't feel so much in Istanbul, and I was showing him my home just to show him how much of a mess it was, how everything was kind of like destroyed, and then once I contacted my parents, let them know what happened. I didn't contact them until after I got to the training ground because that's when I really saw kind of like the devastating effects, you know. And then that's when it, you know, obviously news started to circulate because it's about 6 o'clock in the morning, and with the time difference to Turkey, it's about between 8 and 11 hours, depending when you are in Canada. So obviously news was starting to circle around then. You know, the internet would cut out here and there. I mean, I was speaking to a team and then speaking to for like a couple of hours. The same with my parents, and obviously they started to like panic and things of that nature. But you know, everything was kind of just there's no electricity in the city, and because of the earthquake as well, there was no internet connection, so people had a hard time getting hold of people. And in little pockets of space, you were able to connect to something, but it was very less than intermittent.
Yeah,
Thanks.
for me, it was. I mean, in terms of reaching out to my family, it was a lot different for me because they knew of Istanbul not really being affected with it at all. So it was just that contact that I wanted to have with him, and as he said, like with him losing the internet connection a bit, you kind of start to worry a little bit about it. And then I heard that there was like a second earthquake, which made me worry a little bit more. So a few hours went by, and then was able to get in touch with him after that again. So it was just reassuring. But yeah, just that was it from my side. My family and friends kind of checked in to make sure everything was okay with me, but they had a good idea that things were fine with me in Istanbul, and obviously just very sad to hear what had happened in the country.
Had you guys ever experienced earthquakes before, especially in that region?
I had experience, but it was you just felt a little bit of shaking. We had one in Istanbul, I think it was around 2 years ago. And nothing like what these guys experienced, but you just worry a little bit and you panic, and just once you find out that it was an earthquake, it just makes you think twice about everything. So that's the closest I have ever come to an earthquake.
Yeah, I mean, I've never really felt an earthquake before. Yeah, that was my first time.
Glad you guys are safe.
Thank you.
Thanks. So yeah, I think on top of everything that we spoke about, what Sam was speaking about, what's important for us, especially me being on this call with everybody, is just to get the message out to everybody in Canada of what Sam and I are trying to do in terms of getting help and getting donations. I think it's really important for the people that are in need of that. There's a lot of people that are still under the rubble. I think around 150,000 is the last number that we heard. So people are just really in bad conditions right now, and it's really cold here. So just making it through the day and in the night, it's extremely difficult, and just doing whatever we can to get the message to Canadians. We've partnered with Red Cross. There's a link. I don't know if we can. We're gonna have to find the link that we can get to you, Rich, so that we can send it out to everybody.
Yes. Yeah.
But it is through Red Cross, and if any way that anybody can help out that way would be very helpful. And then just on the grounds here in Turkey, there's a campaign called AHBAP. It's AHBAP. they're a company that you know is very trustworthy, and they can help out as well.